Hi guys, today I'd like to explain why I chose a 27-inch triple monitor setup instead of a 32-inch one. I'll explain the reasons why I made this choice. It doesn't mean that the 32 isn't suitable. In fact, maybe for most people the 32-inch is suitable. But for my situation and for me it was, let's say, the right solution. The 27-inch. But it's a decision that I made with a lot of effort. It took me weeks, if not months. I thought about it. I didn't know. I looked at forums. Some said 27, some 32. I watched YouTube videos. I was so confused that in the end I didn't know what to get. And so I'd like to maybe help you in a way to make the right choice. That is what's right for you. I'd like to explain the various steps I took to reach this decision. Which anyway, I repeat, works for me and maybe doesn't work for someone else. Okay, let's do this. I'll show you first of all on 4 or 5 cars and in 3 different games. My view inside my cockpit, which is completely enclosed. What do I see with a triple monitor? So you have size 27, so you have an idea. Let's say of what I see, my POV, because then POV is point of view. Let's say from my point of view, what I see when I'm sitting here. Keep in mind that the camera tends to distort the edges a little bit. You might see them drooping a bit towards the outside, but when I'm sitting in the car, for example, the dashboard is completely straight, just to specify. There. Take a look at this quick video, and then I'll see you later when I explain the various steps I took, let's say in my mind, to reach the choice of the 27-inch, which for me was the best choice I could have made. Okay, see you later in a few seconds, and anyway, see you later.
Andiamo, vai, accendi, sul dosso. In, destra 4. In, sinistra 2, chiude 1. In, destra 3, chiude 1, 40.
Here I am again. So you've seen a bit of, let's say, my view in the car. How much I see in height and how much I see in width. The first thing to say that you need to know, in width. With a 32-inch compared to a 27, the gain is minimal. If on the sides, as a view, you gain very little indeed. With the 32-inch, a triple setup, you gain a lot in height. Keep this in mind, in height and not in width. And so you have to ask yourself a bit, does it really make sense to go in height if I already see everything I need to see? When I look around, I see my dashboard in front of me, I see all of my instruments clearly, and I even notice, let's say, the roof of the car above me. But then I wonder, do I really need to see anything more than that? Keep this question in mind as you think about it, because in my opinion, it's actually quite an important point to consider, and it might even be more significant than it first appears. Also, you have to consider that the advantage of having a 27-inch is that I can put the screen very, very close to the wheel. I put it right behind the wheel. And that's what's important to me, because with a 32-inch, you have to move it back a little bit anyway. This is something to keep in mind, because I'll explain something to you later. So, these are the parameters I took into account to finally make my decision. Available space. How much space do you have available? Do you have a lot of space or do you have very little space? In my case, my rig is tucked into a corner of a small room right next to a wardrobe, so I have relatively little space. From screen to screen, I have a width of about 1.25 meters. If I'd gone with a 32-inch setup, the width would have been about 1.50 meters or 1.55 meters, depending on where I'd place the screen. Because the further you move it from the wheel, the more you have to, let's say, open up the angle of the screens. So from this point of view, I already have, let's say, a point in favor of the 27-inch screens for the width of the 27, because for me, a 32 with an extra 25 or 30 centimeters of width, I'd have a hard time even getting into my rig. So that's 1 point in favor of the 27. The second thing to keep in mind, and it's not, well, maybe for most people it's not that relevant, but for me it is. When I set up my gear, I'm always on my own. I don't have anyone who can help me. First. Second, it's my very first triple screen setup. So I had to take into account, it's true that a 32-inch isn't much heavier, it's not much wider, it's not much bulkier, but still, you can feel the difference. If I have to handle 27 or 32-inch screens alone, and then, say, align them with the little experience I have, I figured that a smaller screen is just easier to manage and position by myself. So let's say this was another point that's slightly in favor of the 27. Now let's move on to the technical data, the important stuff. Well, here we need to talk a bit about screens in general. So keep this in mind. For 24-inch screens, the optimal resolution is Full HD, which stands for Full High Definition. This means you get 92 pixels per inch or 92 ppi, providing a sharp and clear image quality. That means per inch, and an inch is 2.54 centimeters long, so over a length of 2.54 centimeters, I have 92 pixels. This is Full HD. On a 27-inch screen, normally, let's say, the ideal resolution, meaning to have an ideal pixel density, you need QHD. That means, if I'm not mistaken, 109 ppi, which means 109 pixels per inch. Whereas on a 32, in theory, I always say in theory, the ideal resolution would be 4K. Okay, so at this point you have to look at your budget a bit. Why? To run 4K? Me with the 5080. 3 4K screens with the 5080. With a good processor, I have the 9800X 3D. It might run, but you'd have to sacrifice graphics settings, put them at minimum, you'd lose a lot of frames. So already I have to rule this out, the 32-inch 4K. For me, it's already ruled out, so I'm left with two choices, 32 with Full HD resolution or 27 with QHD resolution. I've been playing for about 8 or 9 years now, always with 27-inch screens at QHD resolution. So my eyes are used to this resolution. So I thought about it. Do I want, after 9 years, to take a step backwards? Meaning moving to a lower resolution? Because a 32-inch in, let's say, QHD resolution, to be honest, would basically be Full HD. It means that on a 32-inch, I have a resolution of 92 pixels per inch. And I honestly, I wouldn't notice it. Maybe while playing I wouldn't notice the difference, but psychologically thinking, after 8 years of taking a step back in resolution, when in theory you always try to move forward, to find something better, to have better graphics, more optimized, more precise, I have to take a step back. So I said to myself, it's true. A bigger screen with a lower resolution. Is it worth it? Yes or no? I told myself, no, I want to stay with QHD. I want 109 pixels per inch. I don't want to take a step back. And consequently, this is also something that then pushed me to get the 27, because I can't afford to buy the 5090. Maybe I could even afford it, but I don't want to spend 3,000 euros on a graphics card, I'm sorry. So this was also something that greatly influenced my choice. So keep in mind, the 32 with a full HD resolution is loved by many. But for me, it would have been a step backwards. Maybe not visually, I might not even notice, but psychologically thinking of having less dense pixels, this was a no-go for me. This is, let's say, the important thing that influenced my choice anyway. Now, another thing to say is that there's one more point that helped me, let's say, choose the 27. It's a video I found on YouTube by a famous YouTuber. His channel is called Race Beyond Matter. By the way, he's a very competent person and also very kind. He's a person who replies to messages. And besides, he also subscribed to my channel, and I thank him very much. And this video of his, which by the way I'll link below in the description of my video, he really made a video where he compares his 27 with the 32. Because he has two setups, both very nice and immersive. Go watch the video because it's worth it. And then watching this video of his, I also really realized that actually, visually, in terms of width, the 27 is practically the same as the 32. You really lose very little. The big difference is in height. With the 32 I see much more, let's say higher up, but in the end, what does it matter to me personally? I see the dashboard, the instruments, and I even see the roof of the car. So I don't need to see more. I'm not here in the car to look at the stars or search for clouds. I mean, what I need to see, I see with the 27. And the 27 has the advantage that I can put it right behind the steering wheel, just how I like it. And I don't have to move it back 20 or 25 centimeters. I have it closer to me, and that's what I wanted because it's what gives me the most realistic feeling. Because the car's dashboard is behind the steering wheel, it's not 30 or 40 centimeters back. So making all these points that I've listed helped me a lot to then make, let's say, a rational choice. Because going on YouTube or Reddit to look for information, everyone gives their own opinion. And I'm not here to give my opinion on what's right or wrong. I'm simply listing the various steps I went through in my head to finally be able to make the choice that turned out to be right for me. I hope I've helped you a little bit, maybe given you some input to also clarify your ideas. I apologize if maybe some terms aren't correct, but I've very precise, but first of all, I'm not a computer scientist. And I usually try not to go too much into technical details because I'm not an expert. I say what I'm certain or almost sure I know. Well, I'd say I can wrap it up here. I hope I haven't bored you. I don't know, I'll make a video maybe next month because I'm going on vacation soon, so I don't know. I hope to see you again soon anyway. We'll talk soon, and I wish you all a wonderful summer and stay healthy and see you. Bye-bye.